Hi and welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be creating some cards for Technique Junkies today. I have here the Falling Confetti Hearts background stamp. I'm going to be stamping it with Versamark ink onto a piece of cream colored cardstock. It is a different color than you're probably used to, but it does help, I think, create a softer looking card. I'm using the Rabbit Hole Design embossing tool. I'll have all the products linked below in my description box. I'm just covering this with Versamark, and I'm going to use my stamp positioning tool to get a nice impression. I have my little handheld stamp tool that helps me to get pressure, an even amount of pressure on my background stamp. So that's what our first step is. Next, let's grab some embossing powder. I have rose gold embossing powder. This was a present from my friend Nancy Stamps for Christmas. I do not have any rose gold embossing powder besides this, so this is my first rose gold embossing powder, and I just love the way it looks. And whoops, I spilled a little. You better believe I'll be scooping that back up and putting it into that container. Now, this rose gold embossing powder is from the Ton, but I understand she doesn't make it anymore. So I'll try to find some other sources out there for you to get some rose gold embossing powder of your own. Once you see it with this cream cardstock, I think you're really going to like it. And by the way, what I'm doing here, because I scraped that rose gold embossing powder off of my mat and onto a piece of cardstock, there was a little piece of debris, probably a little piece of paper or fuzz or something, and I was just basically getting that out of the way before I put it back in the container, just to make sure I keep it as clean as possible. All right, let's go ahead and heat emboss this with the embossing gun. And when you are heat embossing, this does have a lot of little hearts. Obviously, it's called Falling Confetti Hearts, so you've got that. You just want to be really careful that you don't burn your paper. With embossing powder, it doesn't take long to heat and melt. So one thing that I always recommend is just to keep your embossing gun moving. And then when you do that, you can take a closer look and see if there's any sections that you missed, and you can always go back over it. This is a pretty quick card making video, and I am basically doing a batch. So at the end of this video, I will have 5 different cards made. And I'm just basically experimenting with different colors of embossing powders with different colors of cardstock. This is just white cardstock. This is just Hammermill Premium Color Copy Cover cardstock. It is 100 pounds. I just wanted to let you know that this stamp and the other stamp I'm going to be using are both part of the new release from Technique Junkies, and I will have them linked below in my description box. And if you want to save 10% off your order at Technique Junkies, please use my coupon code, which is TJ10Tracy. And that'll save you 10% on all non-sale items. Now I have a pink. This was created with some mixture. I actually mixed up my own embossing powder here. I had some pink mica powder, and I mixed it with some just clear embossing powder. I have a very large container of clear embossing powder, so I am able to mix my own embossing powder from time to time. But I mean, if you have it and you have a way of purchasing this in the color that you like, it's so much easier just to purchase it. But I was really searching for a specific sort of pink color, and so I went ahead and made some up. So this is just some homemade embossing powder with a base of clear embossing powder and mixed in some mica powder that's pink. And voila, we've got this, you can see that the embossing powder that I created is highly pigmented. There's a lot of pink left over, but I am going to show you a trick for removing sort of the extra there. It sort of leaves a pink tone behind. This is actually white cardstock. So what I do is I let that cool completely, and then I take a Swiffer, the Swiffer, or you can take clean microfiber towel, although the Swiffer sheets work much better. They remind you of a dryer sheet, but they're Swiffer sheets that you would use to dry mop your floor with. You only have to do that for the embossing powders that leave that mica stain behind. Now, I'm going to be ink blending this, so I really didn't care too much about getting all that extra mica off. And I'm going to be using some pinks from Catherine Puller. By the way, in case you didn't know, Technique Junkies does sell Catherine Puller inks. I would encourage you to head over there, check out the wide selection, including theirs re-inkers. So I've got 3 colors. I've got Rouge, Do-Si-Do, and Pucker Up. These are 3 Catherine Puller ink colors. We'll start with Do-Si-Do, which is a very light pink. It's almost muted to me. It's not a real bright light pink. It's just, I'm not really sure how to describe it. But it's definitely not a bright pink. All right. The Pucker Up is the bright pink. The Pucker Up is almost a fuchsia pink. But I think this looks really pretty with the pink embossed hearts in the background. Now we'll move on to Pucker Up. If I can get the container open. I'm just using blending brushes. Now I keep my Catherine Puller inks juicy, so you might try to ink blend with Catherine Puller inks or any color ink, and it might not go on as easily. Well, that's because I kept my pads re-inked so that they're juicy, and also because I'm using this hammer mill paper, which is super smooth. It's almost glossy, but it's real smooth. I don't know how else to explain it. If you've ever tried it before, I know that you're going to love it. It's basically my go-to paper now for everything, for ink blending, for everything. So I started with the Do-Si-Do and then the Pucker Up, and I thought, wow, that Pucker Up is really packing a punch. So what I did was I just did not re-ink my brush, and I just finished cleaning my brush on the paper. So the lighter color at the top is actually a very light version of Pucker Up. The middle tone is the fully saturated, the 100% of Pucker Up, and then the bottom is Do-Si-Do. All right, now I have some colored ink. This is Rouge, and I'm going to create this ombre look. So I put Rouge, and then I put Do-Si-Do, and then Pucker Up. And so I'm just using these inks now to ink with. I'm not sure if this has been a while since I did this process. I'm not sure if I embossed or if I just inked this version here, but let's look and see. I think it just looks really pretty. It's very simple, but I just think it's so pretty to have those hearts and those different colors of pink for Valentine's Day, or as you see, we are going to be making Galentine's Day cards. Still, it is batching your backgrounds. Start with creating the backgrounds that you want and then move on to the sentiment. Grabbing another piece of cream colored cardstock, I'm going to again ink up the background stamp with Rouge first, then Pucker Up second, and then Do-Si-Do third. That's a true ombre because you're going from dark to light. Get a nice impression there, and then you've got your fourth card panel. I love it on the cream colored cardstock. I just think it really softens the look up. Okay, I did another one with a Versamark. Not sure where the footage got to, but you understand how to do it because I showed you earlier. And now I'm using silver embossing powder. I thought, well, let's try it with silver. I did the rose gold. Now I'm going to try to see how this turns out with a silver embossed falling confetti hearts background. And I'm glad I did this. I don't use silver embossing powder that much. I forgot how pretty it is and how it shines. I see myself using silver embossing powder more in the future. Once I'm done heat embossing this, I am going to grab the sentiment stamp, and I want to tell you a little bit about the sentiment stamp. It's called Happy Galentine's Day from Technique Junkies. It's just a small little sentiment stamp. You'll see it. It's really pretty. But I was asked recently, what is Galentine's Day? So for those of you who don't know, instead of Valentine's Day, it's Galentine's Day. And that is a day when you celebrate all of your friends that are female that you love. And you can send them cards, send them flowers, buy them chocolates, take them out for lunch, give them a phone call, send them a card. You are, after all, card makers, or you wouldn't be watching this video. That's what Galentine's Day is all about. It's almost sort of like the anti-Valentine's Day, sort of. Because, you know, so many people don't have significant others that they can share Valentine's Day with. So Galentine's Day is a great day to let your friends know how much you love them. The sentiment I'm using is Happy Galentine's Day. I know I didn't show it for a very long time on camera. You will get to see it though in my finished cards that I'm going to show at the end of this video. I'll have several photos of the cards that I created. You can get a close-up look at those. I'm going to be embossing because I have my Rabbit Hole Designs embossing tool. And taking that sentiment and getting ready to emboss it. I have Versamark ink. Also, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for taking the time to watch me today. I'd love it if you would subscribe. And if you're a current subscriber, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video today. You guys are the best. I'm so excited that you're here. I appreciate you all very much. And I love it when you leave comments. I read each and every one of them and just enjoy hearing from all of you so much. And of course, I really appreciate thumbs up. So if you like this video and you like the cards at the end, please give a thumbs up. But at the end, leave a comment and let me know which card you like the best. All right, back to my homemade embossing powder. That is that pretty pink pearl, I guess you would call it, because it's got a lot of mica powder in it. And this doesn't take very long to heat emboss. What I end up doing is heat embossing the sentiment several times and using different colors of embossing powder, and then trimming the sentiment and a piece of holographic matte cardstock to go behind the sentiment with a stitched rectangle die. By the way, this is the Swiffer cloth. I'm just using that to get rid of that extra mica that is left over from the embossing powder. Yes, these holographic papers are gorgeous. I will make sure that I have a link below in my description box to where you can find some holographic papers. And that's the die set that I use. It's from Paper Rose. Now I'm going to go in slow motion here so I can explain each one of these cards. This one is my favorite. I've got rose gold matte layer, rose gold embossed hearts on cream colored paper. Then I have the rose gold matte layer again, and Happy Galentine's Day heat embossed with rose gold embossing powder. Next up is my second favorite, and this one will be for all the hot pink lovers out there. This is the hot pink foil cardstock with the hot pink ink blended paper, silver embossed hearts, and then the actual sentiment is hot pink embossing powder, and the matte is hot pink holographic cardstock. Lots of hot pink. Okay, next we have cream colored cardstock, multicolor hearts, and rose gold matte foil. And then Happy Galentine's Day is heat embossed with the pink embossing powder. Next has a pink ink blended background, pink hearts that are heat embossed. The cardstock foil is pink and rose gold, and then the rose gold embossed Happy Galentine's Day. My camera shut off from my last card, but here's a picture of it. It's white cardstock with pink falling hearts, multicolor, hot pink holographic matte layer, and then Happy Galentine's Day is heat embossed with pink embossing powder. Finally, I'll show you some screenshots of these cards that I made. I think they turned out really nice. I hope that you've enjoyed my video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. Let me know which card you like the most. And also, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I try to do a video every week. Sometimes there's more than one a week. I go live as much as I can, and I have a special show at the end of the month where I am live with a mystery guest and we get to smash our crafty stash. I'll have all the details listed below in my description box. Thanks so much. Have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.